Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. As per usual, I will be going over my normal schedule of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, Vertcoin, Monero, Omisigo, and Lisk. And I'm happy to announce to you all that I will be adding Cardano to the end of all my daily crypto updates from here on out. So I will get to that at the end of this video, but Cardano will be added to these daily crypto updates, so make sure to subscribe if you're interested in getting updated every day on what's happening as far as technicals go on Cardano. And of course, I cover everything in a more detailed technical analysis. I'll get to that in just a second. If you haven't purchased cryptocurrencies yet, go check out Coinbase. I have a referral link in the description of this video where you can get $10 free worth of Bitcoin when you sign up. And let me go ahead and start off the update with what's been going on with the general market and the altcoins. So we are seeing somewhat, not a major pullback, but definitely a bit of a pullback here after the big run up that we had. And of course, a lot of the altcoins like Litecoin, Ethereum, and of course, Bitcoin has started to pull back. So across the board here, we see a lot of red, right? A lot of crypto's down 15 to 20%. It's not really anything that I'm worried about. You have to understand that we did see a pretty massive increase in a lot of these just, over the past 2 days. So it's only normal that they pull back a little bit, and we'll have to see how all this will play out as far as the technicals go, if there's any worrying signs. But for now, I think that it's just a normal pullback. We'll see how big of a pullback it'll be, but when they increase this quickly, they have to see some kind of a breather to move back up, right? It's only normal. And let's get started with what's been happening in Bitcoin. So like I said a couple days ago, right, we got a big drop all the way down to this $13,638 mark. And I told you guys that sometimes can foreshadow what's about to happen, and that's exactly what we saw. So we came back and tested the uptrend line. Then on the next candlestick right now, we're currently dipping back below the support level. That probably means that unless we see some kind of a bounce here, a clean bounce where we restart to move back up and get above the high of this candlestick, which is $14,622, we'll probably move lower, right? So like I said, unless we're able to get some kind of bounce either off this support level over here at 13,600 or the uptrend line, we're probably going to break through that, and the next level will be near this maybe $12,000 area, basically the next uptrend line, right? What's good with the second uptrend line is that it's in line with the middle band, that's the brown line over here. So that'll be some added support. Plus we do have another big support level at $11,400, around $50. So there is quite a support in that area, and hopefully at that point, if it gets that low, we will see a strong bounce off that. Of course, Bitcoin moved up a lot, so we could definitely see it move even lower, right? But for now, I don't want to make any crazy calls. We just have to see how it acts around the support level and when we're going to see a bounce, right? As far as the indicators go, we do definitely have some bearish signals now. We crossed back below the 70 line on the RSI. That's a bearish signal. Usually means that there's some more weakness to come. One thing that I'd just like to point out is that we do see decreasing sell volume. That could signify a rebound. But other than that, we see that the MACD is kicking back down, finally kind of peaking, and it'll probably at least test the orange line at this point. Same thing on the histogram, moving back lower. So those are just a couple things to be aware of. Like I said, unless we get some kind of clean bounce right now, we're probably going to see it move to at least the next uptrend line. Let's go over to Ethereum, see what's been going on with that. It actually saw a bit of weakness here. So what happened is we managed to go pretty high, all the way, actually put in a new all-time high on the previous candlestick, all the way up to $535.10. That sold off pretty badly, and we ended up closing right above our previous uptrend line that is acting as resistance. So we kind of saw a double top on that on our candlestick right now, and we're moving lower. This is what I said when we can expect to trade in the range in between these two trend lines. It looks like that's what's going to happen for now. So we basically tested the upper channel, and now we're moving back towards the lower side of it. Hopefully we get a bounce off either the middle band that's currently sitting at $448 or the uptrend line over here, and we just keep moving up in this channel until we're really able to break nicely above $500 and hold. Of course, if there's going to be some kind of weakness, we could break below the uptrend line. At that point we could expect to fall lower, but I'm not going to make that call just yet. We have to see if we're going to get a bounce off that uptrend line, like I said, and if we're really going to start to see this trading in this channel moving upward slowly but surely. As far as indicators go, we're downtrending on the MACD. Attempted reversal, that didn't really make it. Same thing on the histogram, and we can see that we are in this symmetrical triangle actually right now on the RSI, which is basically our previous downtrend line and our current uptrend line. So we tested the downtrend line and we're moving back towards the uptrend line. basically we'll see if we get a bounce off that and if we can hold in this symmetrical triangle right now. So we have to see how this plays out, but definitely Ethereum seeing a little bit of weakness after the jump that it had. Moving over to Litecoin. Litecoin actually was doing really well here and went all the way up to right under $200. So it put an all-time high of $199. Absolutely amazing move for Litecoin, but what you have to realize is obviously those type of moves like that, it was up, I guess over 75%, and in that short of a period of time, it's not really sustainable, right? So we did see the sell-off, and like I kind of told you guys, I did expect a little bit of a pullback. That's what we're seeing now. Currently testing around the $150 mark. We'll see if we dip below that. It's very possible that we re-enter back into the Bollinger Bands, and then we have one of our uptrend lines right over here. So we'll see if we get a bounce off this. Basically, there's a pretty good chance that we can see a strong bounce. We could bounce over here at the high of this candlestick, which is $144.75. I'll go ahead and put in a horizontal black line so you can see that that's this level right over here. Could get a bounce off that and move higher if there's really enough strength, but that would need, like I said, a strong amount of strength, right? Because we are trading fully above the upper Bollinger Band, and if we come dipping a bit lower, then we'd probably have a good chance of bouncing off this $128 area where, we have the support over here based on the previous candlesticks, and it's kind of in line with the uptrend line, so that should work out pretty well for a bounce there. And we'll just see if that plays out or if we're going to move lower on this pullback. I would say it's pretty likely that we get a bounce off this $128 mark, just because Litecoin has been acting pretty strong, and people seem to really be buying it up right now, even throughout the weakness, right? MACD, of course, really took off, not really pulling down just yet. Same thing on the histogram, and RSI starting to come back down. We'll see if we dip below this uptrend line right over here as far as RSI goes, but right now it's kind of at this 75 mark. So if it dips below that, we might get a test of the 70 mark, maybe even dip below that. It really depends, right? If this is just going to be a very short-term pullback, or if we're actually going to see this dip back, lower. One thing that I will just point out is if we end up not bouncing in this $128 mark, we could definitely see it go back down to the previous all-time high, which was around $107. So that's just something to pay attention to if things get worse. But for now, like I said, I'm not going to make any call like that because things are still looking okay. And it's just, a normal pullback after a big increase, like I said. Let's go over and see what's happening to Ripple. So it looks like Ripple is actually pulling back a little bit towards the uptrend line. If we're able to hold above that, nothing really to worry about. It's been very volatile, right? I mean, it went and tested the 25-cent level and our previous support level of 21 cents. So it's moving a bit all over the place. We can see that it flattened out but kind of failed really hooking back over on the MACD. That's still something that we could see, but it kind of failed that first attempt, I guess. And as far as the histogram goes, we are starting to climb back up. RSI not really doing all that much, kind of holding on the 50 line. We'll see if it's able to really avoid breaking below that. And yeah, from here, I would say we just want to make sure that we can trend above the uptrend line, hopefully get back above the middle band, which is currently at 23 cents. And that's kind of what I see happening. We just have to see if there's going to be some more weakness that's going to push this below the uptrend line. That would put us around this 22-cent range. So yeah, that's kind of what I expect moving forward for Ripple. And I'm sorry if I wasn't clear there. Basically, there's no real telling. We just have to see if it's going to be able to hold the uptrend line is what I mean. Let's go over to NEO, see what's been happening with NEO, and let's see. So NEO pulling back quite a bit today, unfortunately. Looks like it's down almost 8%, and quite a bit of technical damage here because we broke back below the downtrend line, currently testing and almost dipping under the uptrend line, and our support level at 32 cents. $32.33. So if we get a bounce off that, I guess it's kind of like the disaster is avoided. But if we crumble below that, we're going to be back in this lower range over here near 28 cents, which wouldn't be the best sign because after that, we only have one real support level at $24.38 before we could see a much bigger drop, right? So we definitely want to try to avoid dropping below that if we can. We'll see if we get a bounce, like I said, but it is looking pretty weak right now. As far as the MACD goes, downtrending pretty simply, and same thing on the histogram. RSI definitely moving lower at this point. I think I can even put in a bit of a downtrend line in the making over here. Let's see. Wrong indicator, but let me go ahead and put that in just for future reference. That's going to be this line right over here, right? So we're definitely downtrending on the RSI. And let's go over and see what's happening to Vertcoin. So it looks like it is also one of the cryptos that's experiencing a pullback after, you know, the bounce, and down about 13%, dipped back under the $7.21 support level. We'll see if we're able to, you know, move back above that, but at this point, if we are going to move lower, we'll see if we get a bounce off this middle band at $6.25. That should definitely help keep the prices, you know, at these higher levels, at least near the $7.21 area. Couple bearish indicators though are that the MACD is pulling down pretty significantly, coming very close to the orange line, so we're probably going to get a test of that. Could possibly even break below that, and if we flip under the orange line, I think we'll see a move like we did over here, where we end up consolidating for a bit. That would probably be in this $6.50 range, right? So that wouldn't be the end of the world, but that would definitely mean that we would need to consolidate for a while. And we're coming back towards our RSI support level. This is a pretty major support level as far as the RSI goes. Tested it a lot of times and held at 52. So that's a couple of things to be aware of. Definitely could see some consolidation at this point for Vertcoin. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's go over to Monero, see how it's been acting. Obviously, like I've been saying, it's one of the stronger cryptos out there. Acted pretty well throughout the past couple weeks, and looks like we're actually, unfortunately, finally getting some bearish action here for Monero. So down about 6%. What happened was we started consolidating a little bit, and that didn't really hold. We started breaking back below some support levels, back below $245. Now we're moving much lower, so we actually ended up crumbling below the symmetrical triangle formation that we had, which I'm not sure if you can really see that right now, but that's this downtrend line and this uptrend line right here. Broke to the downside of that, which is definitely a bearish signal. And seeing how much Monero advanced over the past couple days, I do think we're going to see a decent pullback here. You know, we could bounce off this $229 mark, but I think that we're probably going to test these uptrend lines again. So yeah, I do think we're going to get a test of those. And as far as the MACD goes, that's also pointing towards some bearish movement, moving back to the downside. Same thing on the histogram. And we dipped back below the 70 line, which we haven't really done for a while. We got a little dip here, but that didn't really hold. So this is one of the, you know, this is probably going to be a sign that we're going to get a bit of bearish movement here from Monero over the next maybe 2-3 weeks. So unfortunately, kind of the end of the short-term bull run for Monero. I'm not worried about it. I don't think it's a disaster or anything, but definitely it's going to need to take a little bit of a break here, it looks like, which again is completely normal considering the increase that it had. So you can't really be mad about that. Let's see what's been going on with OmiseGO. Seeing a pretty big pullback here as well, down about 7%. Definitely downtrending on the MACD and histogram. Not really doing all that much on the RSI. We'll see if we create some kind of range over here near $7.50. Might come back and test the $6.80 level. So a couple different things can happen here, but it does look like we're going to see some weakness in OmiseGO. Not much to say for now on that. And let's go over to Lisk, and then finally our new crypto in these daily crypto updates, Cardano. So let's see what's been going on with Lisk. Looks like it's also getting a pretty big dip here, down about 6%. It is starting to put in, I wanted to point this out for all of you, a bigger range right now. So it's not a very tight range, but all the way up to this $9.70 level to this, I guess you could even say over here, $6.85 mark. That's going to be the larger range that we're trading in for now. And it looks like we are to the lower side of that because we are seeing some weakness. So, you know, we put in a low today of $7.17. We'll see if we can hold above this $7.63. But we are kind of dipping below that. We can see that the middle band is currently sitting at $7.96, and it is moving downwards, which is a bearish sign, unfortunately. And we could definitely see us moving lower into this range, maybe even coming, if we break below that, down to this uptrend line, right? So it looks like it's going to consolidate a bit, but I kind of see this area as being a bit of a buying opportunity for Lisk. Of course, this isn't financial advice, but I do think that, you know, it will move up eventually. It's just taking a bit of a consolidation. So we'll see how all this plays out, but I'm not too worried about it. As far as the histogram goes, we broke out of the uptrend. That's obviously yet another bearish sign, downtrending on the MACD. So yeah, not looking great here for List. Probably going to consolidate / pull back a little bit more. But I think that, you know, in a month or two at the most, it will already start to recover and really get back to its previous glory. Final crypto of this daily crypto update is going to be the new addition, which is Cardano. So let's see. Cardano currently, you know, at 810 Satoshis. Now, what's looking good with Cardano is, although it got a dip back below 1,000 Satoshis, we bounced on the, we dipped a little bit below that, but we basically held above the middle band, you know, so that's a very good sign that I'm happy to see that that's happening. And it didn't see a total disaster, didn't go all the way back down and destroy all the progress that it made. So that's good to see. Now, unfortunately, we do have some contradicting indicators, right? It's looking pretty good as far as the price goes and as far as price action goes, but the MACD is still moving lower, not really flattening out just yet. And yeah, it's kind of the beginning of that downtrend. So we could definitely see some more weakness moving forward or some consolidation. Same thing for the histogram, right? There's no real sign of a reversal just yet. That could happen, of course, and not really doing all that much on the RSI. But one thing that I want to point out is that there's going to be a couple of things to pay attention to, right? First, we have this downtrend line. Yeah, and this right here is going to be the downtrend line that we want to make sure that we're able to strongly break above, because if we don't, we're probably just going to see the price continue to downtrend lower, right? And that's definitely something that we don't want to see. So we want to make sure that we can break above that and really get back above that 10,000 Satoshi level, 1,000 Satoshi levels. So that's what I'm going to be looking at moving forward. But overall, it's good that it found some support here, and it's currently trading above the upper Bollinger Band. That's definitely a good sign. Now we just need to break above this downtrend line. This is it for this daily crypto update, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.